Good morning, respected sir and my dear all fellow classmates. Me, along with my group members, will be presenting the case study of Satyam, which is the nation's biggest corporate scam in the living memory. It was a classic example of negligence of fiduciary duties and lack of corporate ethical standards and the social responsibility. Here are the group members that will be presenting this Diksha, Namish, Pooja, Sakshi, Shrishti, and me, Vaishali. These are the content that we all will be covering about company's background and scandal, its analysis, its aftermath, then its investigation, and the victims and the person involved, and finally the conclusion. Okay, so Mr. Ramalinga Raju formed Satyam Computers in 1987 with just 20 employees in Hyderabad, and it grew rapidly. Then in 1989, he listed in the Bombay Stock Exchange, and it was oversubscribed by 17 times. In 2001, Satyam got listed in New York Stock Exchange as well. Satyam Computers offers IT and BPO services spanning all sectors. It was a rising star in India's outsourced and IT industry. The company won Global Peacock Award in 2007 and 2009 for good governance, and then in September 2008, World Council for Corporate Governance again awarded it for good governance and proper accountability. Then the the company won other awards as well for innovation, for entrepreneurship, for good governance and the accountability. Satyam Computers is the India's IT crown jewel. It was the country's fourth largest company with high profile customers. The external environment in which the country is growing was also favorable. The company was becoming a global name in the IT sector. Now I like to call Nanesh to take this forward.
Satyam has announced buying of 100% stake in Mitas Infra and Properties on December 2008. Satyam, the chairman Ramalinga Raju's son owns the Mitas Properties and Mitas Infra. The proposed $1.6 billion deal is aborted when 7 hours later due to the revolt by investors who opposed the takeover. But Satyam share plunges 55% in trading on the New York Stock Exchange. On December 23, the World Bank bans Satyam from doing business with the bank direct contracts for a period of 8 years in one of the most severe penalties by a client against an Indian outsourcing company. On December 26, Satyam's four independent directors resigned. One of them was Mangalam Srinivasan, and on December 28, they appointed Merrill Lynch. And on the Jan 2, 2009, promoter stake fell from 8.64 to 5.13 and then fell to 3.6. And on Jan 7, Mr. Ramalinga Raju resigned and confessed the fraud. He says the company cash and bank shown in balance sheet have been inflated and fudged to the tune of Indian national rupees 50,400 million. Please change the slide. And as the graph shows the promoter shareholding pattern, as we can see from in 2001, the promoter stake was 23.20, more than 25%, but when in 2000, and we can see it continuously falling. In 2008, it falls from to 23.42%, and it reaches 2.18% on December 2008.
So here's the question that arose. How did the scandal happen, and how Mr. Raju and his fellow partners barked up the wrong tree? On 7 January 2009, Mr. Raju disclosed a letter of confession to the board of directors and SEBI, and disclosed that he had been manipulating the accounts for years, and also claimed a fraud of $1.47 billion, that is equal to 7,800 crore. The reason behind the fraud was understandable by they wanted to divert the company's fund into real estate, and also want to keep the EPS high, that is earning per share, and also want to earn profit by selling the their shares at inflated prices. They also want to meet the analyst expectations. So Satyam overstated the income nearly every year, and for that they created 6,000 fake salary account, and also created customer fake identities and generated fake invoices out of it. These, and also they acquired loans illegally, and it was also appeared that the company raised through ADRs, that is American Depository Receipts, in US, and never made it to the balance sheet. These malpractices led to a huge gap in the actual amount and the amount reflected in the balance sheet and income statement. The gap continued to grow over the years, and it became unmanageable for the company to fill that gap. The Meta's acquisition deal was the only and the last, we can say, last option and desperate option to fill that gap, and we can say to cover the fraud that they made. And they wanted to bring some real asset to the company, and wanted to replace that with the fictitious assets. Satyam was brought to knee due to tunneling strategy that they had adopted, and which was clearly understandable by the previous graph which Namish explained. So here's the have a look on the fabricated balance sheet and income statement of Satyam, which shows three column, that is actual, reported, and different, and their differences. In total, the balance sheets shows a difference of 7,136 crore, and that is a huge amount that Satyam manipulated, and Satyam manipulated the accounts, the income statement accounts also. The difference between their actual and reported profit was approximately 588 crore. That's all from my side. Over to Pooja.
These are the factors contributed to the fraud. First one is independent board members. The directors also pleaded their ignorance about the company's book, and manipulated by Mr. Raju for several years, and also gave the approvals to deal about the metas, and even considering without the interest of shareholders and the investors. Second one is PwC. PwC is a global auditing firm, and also audited Satyam's book from 2000, and until discover the fraud in 2009. And PwC also criticized Hashi from failing to detect the fraud. And PwC signed Satyam's financial statement and also responsible for the numbers. And PwC also signed Satyam's accounts for detecting the fraud. But they did uncover the fraud. But while Merrill Lynch, which was appointed by the Satyam, who can discover the fraud as part of due to diligence in nearly 10 days. Third one is SEBI. SEBI regulates the functions of securities market, and to protect the interest of the investors. And SEBI also considered as a watchdog, and to also and following to protect the stock exchange dealings. And SEBI also SEBI cannot identify the malpractices and fraud also on time. And internal auditors, Mr. Raju and the company's global head of the internal audit uses a different number of techniques to penetrate the fraud. Ramachandran was pointed out, and he using a personal computer to create a numerous fake accounts, and bank statements to advance the fraud. And he also falsified the bank account to inflate the balance sheet, when balance did not exist. And the company's global head of the internal audit also created numerous fake identities, fake customers identities, and generate and also generate the and also generated fake invoices and also generated fake invoices against their names to inflate the revenues. And also internal auditors also forced the resolutions and illegally obtained the loans for the company. And fifth one is whistleblowing policy was not effective. Whistleblower policy means that whistleblower is a person who could be an employee of the company or a government agency, and disclosing the information to the public or any higher authority about the about the conducting of wrongdoing in the company, and also could be in the form of fraud, malpractices, corruption, etc. But in this whistleblowing policy does not effective. But the Satyam was appointed Merrill Lynch, which was for to look for the to look for the partners and buyers of the company. Ultimately, blew the whistle has been effective, and terminated engagement with the company. Soon after, it's found financial irregularities. Over to Sakshi.
Okay, thank you, Pooja. Now I will be explaining aftermath of Satyam scandal. Firstly, PwC license to operate was revoked. That is, immediately following the news of the fraud, PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC came under intense scrutiny and its license to operate was revoked. And also, the coveted awards won by Satyam and its executive management were stripped from the company, Agrawal and Sharma, in 2009. Then Satyam's share fell to 11.50 rupees on January 10, 2009. That is their lowest level since March 1998, compared to a high of 544 rupees in 2008. And in the New York Stock Exchange, Satyam's shares peaked in 2008 US dollars, that is 29.10, and by March 2009 they they cover trading around US dollar 1.80. Thus, investors lost dollar 2.82 billion in Satyams in 2009. Then criminal charges were brought against Mr. Raju. So after the shares fell to 11.50 in 2009, the criminal charges were also brought against Mr. Raju, including criminal conspiracy, breach of trust, and forgery. Then government appointed the new board of directors of Satyam. The government appointed a new board of director for Satyam to try to save the company. The board goal was to save the company within 100 days. Lastly, on April 13, 2009, Tech Mahindra bought Satyam for $1.13 per share. That is, several companies bid on Satyam on April 13, 2009. The winning bidder, Tech Mahindra, bought Satyam for $1.13 share per share, which is less than a third of its stock market value, before Mr. Raju revealed the fraud and salvaged its operations. That is Daggar 2009. Next slide, please. Now this is the stock charting of Satyam. The chart title as Fall from Grace, which depicts the Satyam's stock decline between December 2009 to December 2008 to January 2009. So next slide, please. So these are the lessons learned from Satyam's scam. That is, if the victims of this case would had investigated all the inaccuracies, they would have saved themselves from the loss. And also this scam has also ruined the entire reputation of Satyam, as well as the co-workers and the reputation of our country. Now. And the corporate governance also need to be a bit more stronger than before, so that there will be less chances of exploitations of shareholders as well as investors. as the Satyam scam had been the example of poor CG practices. That is, it had failed to show good relation with the shareholders and employees, and CG issued at Satyam arose because of non-fulfillment of obligation of the company. And lastly, I would like to conclude with the point. There was absence of accounting standard. That is, company violated some of the accounting standards, and the some of the accounting standards which had been violated are the principle of conservatism and the principle of full disclosure. This is all about the aftermath of Satya. Now, I would like to invite my friend Shrishti for further continuation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sakshi. Now I will discuss about the victims of scandal. First one is employee. Employee were spent anxious movement, sleepless night, non-payment of salary, and cancellation of the project, and they were not getting employment from outside also because of the reputation of the company, and they were stuck in many ways, socially, legally, financially. Now about clients. Clients lost their trust on Satyam. They start checking their contract with them. They were they start checking their contract with them. They prefer to go with their competitors, and global clients like Cisco and World Bank cancel their contract with them, and customers were worried about the continuity of the project and the confidentiality of the project. Now about shareholder. Shareholder lost the money which they have invested on the share of Satyam company, and India also lost the trust of foreign investors, and it which led to ruin the reputation of Indian IT sector. Now about bankers of now about bankers. Bankers were concerned about the recovery of financial and non-financial amount of exposure, and Indian government was worried about the reputation of India and reputation of the nation regards to IT sector, and they were worried also about the India also lost the foreign investors trust. That's why government also worried about that. And now I will talk about the now I will talk about the person involved in the scandal, Mr. Ramalinga Raju, who is the owner, who is the founder and the chairman of Satyam, and B. Ramu Raju, who is the brother of Ramalinga Raju, and who was also the managing director of Satyam company, and Srinivas Vadmani, head of internal audit, and its CFO, who take care all the process regarding to internal audit, and who also helped Ramalinga Raju and B. Ramu Raju in a huge. He played a major place in the this process. And now about PwC, Price Waterhouse Cooper, is a global auditing company. It's a global auditing auditors. And now that much from my side. Now Pooja will continue it further.
Here is the conclusion. CEO and the founder, Mr. B. Ramalinga Raju, was the main culprit. Of the accounting fraud, and he persuaded others to help him in the fraud, such as family members and the internal and external auditors. And they also committed by greed and fame, and most of the fraud cases also. And the gap which is generally accepted accounting principles have been violated along with the auditing standards and by the auditors, and also all the rules related to the corporate governance. The collection of the people made it easier to commit the fraud, and it results in lasted several years. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.